Hello there, and welcome back to Building the Boys. We now have issue 4 of Hachette's Build the Lancaster Bomber. There's quite a bit to do in this one, as is in the next two as well. We have more to do on the cockpit floor that we got in the last one didn't work on. But we're doing a bit on that one. We've got some parachute to install. We're doing more on the fuselage as well, the cockpit canopy. It's quite a bit. And again, at the end of this one, we're going to have quite a bit left over, which is, yeah, it is what it is. Just make sure you've got a decent box. Make sure you've got decent storage bins for these things. And particularly with this one, because some of these parts are quite detailed, quite small, something like a pillbox or something like that for the tiny pieces would probably be advantageous. At the end of this one, we'll be talking about our Weird War 2, where we'll continue to tell the story of the Bat Bomb. That sounds like something out of a movie, but I swear to God, it's a real thing. We spoke about the concept of the Bat Bomb. Well, now how do you put it into practice? We'll be talking about that at the end of this one. We got a lot of bits in this. But without further ado, let's get this one open. Let's get this one built. So here's everything that comes inside stage 4, and as you can see, quite a lot. We've got an LED cable. I don't believe we're using that one in this one. We have more of the fuselage here. I'll just pop this out. We will be using it. We won't be using it just yet. We're using this issue though. It's gorgeous. The rivet in detail on this, the colour, I think it's lovely. I mean, you can see the kind of got the lettering on there as well. Beautiful. And then we have the opposing part of the cockpit frame. We are going to be working on this one as well. But before we get on with that, we are going to need to bring over our cockpit floor. So let me get that. So there's our cockpit floor from issue 3. But not using that one just yet. We are doing the frame first, but we've got a piece that's going to go inside this. Let me just grab this one out. So this is the piece you're going to need, and it is just here. And this is the pilot seat platform. So we have a control panel that's going to fit to the to this one. I'll find that one, get that piece out. It's very nice. It's so detailed. The detailing on this is ridiculously nice. So this is our control panel, and this is going to slot in here, and I'm hoping we don't have to glue it, because this looks like it's going to be a snug fit. And again, as you would see me do on the Titanic, I don't use glue if I don't have to. So if something's got a nice snug push to fit, I'm all right with it, you know. I'm like, I don't need to, if I don't need to glue it, you don't need to glue that. There's no reason to glue that. That is firm as hell. And again, you need a shake test. You don't need to glue that. You just don't. So that's in. That's looking good. So there's no reason to glue that. That's it for that part. So that's done. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring over the interior cockpit framing, which we got in this issue, which is this one. And this is a similar kind of setup to what we did in the last one. So what we're doing is we're adding some instruments to this. So we've got 3 pieces of navigator equipment, which are going to slot in here. Now, these should have D-shaped holes on them, so they're only going to go in one way. So you'll have these the right way round. They are very small, and I have got massive hands, which isn't a great combination. So let me get these ones out. So there's that piece there, and then we're also using this piece here, and then finally this piece here. Now again, I'm going to fit these in. If I don't need to glue them, I'm not gluing them. If they hold firm, that's enough for me, because again, I don't believe in using excessive glue or just out of force of habit. But you can see these pegs are D-shaped basically. So once it's in, I'm hoping this stays in firm, but we'll see. We'll find out. So this piece here is going to go in just there. I'll measure this one up. Push to fit. Yeah, no, see again, it's firm. It's not going to go anywhere. Like I said, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to glue it, you go ahead and you glue it. You do your thing. It's your model. But for me, if I don't have to glue something and it's firm and it's held, I'm not gluing it, because I don't see the point. It's excessive, and you avoid those kind of spills and smears, and you don't need to do it. See, again, with that's so bloody firm. It's just not going to go anywhere. It just isn't. And then that's our last piece here. This is going to go into this one here. So just here. Just pop that one in. Go the way around. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to glue those. There just isn't. But you can see the detail in there. It's lovely. Looking really nice. Okay, that is all we've got to do for that section. Now we are moving on to our cockpit floor. So I'm going to bring this one over. And we're working on this section, working on the parachute section here. So we do have a parachute to build, which is going to go in there. So let's get these pieces out for this parachute. Right, so a parachute piece there. And then we have this piece here. So that's that piece there. Now we're going to build a parachute. So taking this part, again, it's D-plugs. So it'll go that way around. So we're going to slot our parachute in. There we go. Again, it's so firm. It's such a firm fit that there is... Again, if you want to glue, but I don't see the point. Okay, so now it's going to go into here, and you can see we've got one hole larger than the others. This is only going to go in one way. Again, let's see if this fits without the need to glue it. If it's loose, I'll glue it. If it's not, I won't. Push right down. Nope, snug as you like. I'm not going anywhere. No, there's no, again, if you want to, go for it, but it's not going to come out. It's not going to come out, and it's not like this thing's going to be so big and so heavy. It's not going to be thundering this thing around, and which is not. So it's up to you. It's up to you. But I mean, I wouldn't auto glue everything. But that's personal choice. This I think we're going to need to be honest with you. So the next thing we have here is we have this front cockpit floor, which is this piece here. Now, this is going to slot into here. I reckon this will be gluing. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, it's on. If I can lift the weight of the metal with it, it's not going anywhere. Don't use excessive glue, man. You get this with the Titanic. There's a lot of bits on the Titanic saying glue this, glue that, and it's like it's never going to come out. So why glue it if you don't need to? Okay, now we need the bomb aimer's body rest. This is going to fit onto the front. So this is the bomb aimer's body rest here. There we go. So this is exactly what it sounds like. This is what our bomb aimer would have lay upon as he took aim. So again, these are different sized lugs, so it's only going to go in one way. So we'll trial and error. I think this is the right way, but we'll trial and error. It is. That's the right way. So there we are. That's in. Again, if you want to glue it, but I don't. So our bomb aimer would have literally lay across this piece here. That's what that was for. That was so they could find their range. And that is all we're doing on the cockpit floor for this one. We are now moving on to the upper edge of the fuselage. Okay, so taking our piece of fuselage, we're going to flip this one round, and we are installing two windows. So we have this window here, and we have this window here. Now, that is the way they're going to go on. So the smaller window is going to go on the right-hand side, and the larger window on the left. I am gluing these. These 100% are getting glued, and as I did the last time, I am using micro crystal clear to put some glue around here, because it dries completely clear. It's not going to fog up your windows. It will dry and it'll hold these nicely in place. So I'm going to get that glued up, and then we'll install these. So this is this one glued up. Now you're looking at that white and freaking out thinking, oh my God, will it dry clear? Yeah, completely. This is the one we did in 2, and you can see there, that was smeared in the white. It's completely clear. So it will dry completely clear. So you don't have to worry, man. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So what we're going to do is going to install these two windows. Let's make sure these go the right way around. Okay, so window number 1. So just here. I'll push that one right down. Again, don't worry about the white glue. It will dry, and it will dry crystal clear. And then this window here, push down there, like so. Those ones are in. Now just got to wait for them to dry. So there we go. So we're looking from this side. You can see the windows there. If I flip this one over, you can see it's already starting to dry. So by the time it's done, you won't see it at all. That's all for that section. Now we are bringing over our upper cockpit section, working on the last one. And we have some windows and detailing to add to this one. So turning this one over, like so. I'll do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. We have a curtain to fit, and we have an armoured glass panel to fit as well. So the curtain is going to go, let's see if we can aim this properly. The curtain is going to go just here. And the window is going to go just here. So let me get this glued up again. I'm using the crystal clear for this one because I don't want any smears of any glue or any gases on those windows. So we've got our curtain installed. That's a push to fit, and that's in really snug. Now taking our armoured window here, there are 3 holes just here. I mean, it's only going to go in one way because you've got to follow the curvature of the glass. Put some crystal clear on the bottom, just hold it in place. And that one goes in like so. And that is all for the glass on this one. So you can see how that's now looking. So you can see the curtain through the top there. You can see the armoured window there. But that's all in. That's all in lovely. Just got to let the glue do its job. And now we have 2 more pieces to go in. And these are tiny, tiny, tiny bits. And these are these here. And these are going to pop into the front there and there. Again, I'm going to test the fit before I just instantly, start slathering these things in a glue. Now, both these parts are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which side, left or right, you go onto. But these are bloody tiny, and I've got enormous hands, so I don't know how this is going to work. It's probably not. This is a tweezer job, I think. I'll get one in, and then we'll see how we do the other. So I have got the anti-icing spray nozzles in. That's there and there. That one needs to be pushed down a little bit more. Just take your time, because these are things that could just ping off into the ether. But take your time there, and they'll fit in lovely. It looks nice. I mean, again, the riveting and whatnot on this looks stunning. It does. So let's look at the work we've done. So we've installed those windows and the curtain there. We then built this little part of the pilot seat mount. We've added 2 windows there and there. Let's see what that's drying, starting to dissipate now. And then we have also added the cushion and the parachute to the bar aimer. Fantastic. You will be left with some bits. So we were left with the smooth panel here. We're left with what appears to be an instrument box, and we're left with an LED. So put those somewhere nice and safe, because I don't know. They might be used in the next one. They might be used a year from now. So put them somewhere safe. Mark them up if you want to. I mean, that's also smart as well. If we're not using them in the next one, mark them up as in like stage 3 and put them in a little bag. So you know where they were and where they came from, Makes sense. Use one of your existing model bags if you need to. That's what I do. Then I know those are the parts from part 3. It helps, trust me. Let's have a chat. So that's it for that one. Nice and simple. The detailing's lovely. I mean, there's clearly going to be a lot of detail in this cockpit. And it's really nice. It really is. They've not missed out on those things you'd think they'd miss out on, like the curtain. You'd think that's something they go, don't bother. But it's there. So you've got all that detail in there, and I think that's lovely. This does take its place in the ranks of part work frustrations of why did we do that first? Why didn't we do that before we did that? With this nose piece. So bizarrely, we add these little ice sprays that you would have seen on there. But as I was doing it, I was thinking we should have just done this before we screwed it on. This is mental. So now you're trying to do it with, if you just hold on to this piece, it would have been so much easier. But they chose to do it that way, which is just bloody weird. But that's what they've chose. That's what we've done. That's what it is. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's looking lovely. I'm very happy with it so far. The detailing's great. It's nice, really nice and simple. And again, if you want to use glue, use glue. I don't. For me, it holds. I'm comfortable with it. If for you that's an OCD nightmare, you're like, it might come off. Well, then use the glue. No, there's no right or wrong, man. However you want to do it, it's how you want to do it. So, yeah, if you're happy with it, you're happy with it. If you just stick around for build instructions, thank you for stopping by. If you're sticking around for our talks, we started discussing the insanity of the bat bomb. And we're going to talk about the man behind the bat bomb. And it's this guy. So that is Lytle S. Adams. And he was a dental hygienist. So what makes him an expert on bats and bombs? Well, my kids, funny enough, been asking me because they're getting older now and they're starting thinking about what they want to do when they're adults for a career, and they've been asking me for advice. And I said, well, kids, the best advice I can give you, and this is the best advice I can give literally anybody when it comes to the working world, because it is true, whether you like it or not, this is true. It is not what you know, it is who you know. Believe me, it is. As much as I want to deny that for the earliest parts of my working career when I was younger, like, that's not true, that's not. It's 100% true. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And Lytle S. Adams was an acquaintance of the First Lady. So Eleanor Roosevelt, he was an acquaintance of hers, therefore he's got her ear. The average Joe can't just write to the White House and go, hey, I got an idea, and they listen to it, right? But this guy had friends in high places. So he'd been on a trip to Carlsbad caves that had hundreds of thousands of bats. And this is where he got his idea. Now, his knowledge of Japan was that largely the buildings of Japan were wood, and I say paper, we're not talking like, printer paper, but they are. Largely, there were wood paper buildings, paper windows, wooden frames. So the idea of an incendiary attack makes perfect sense because the whole place would go up very quickly. Why bats, though? I mean, this is where it gets weird, right? Because a month after Pearl Harbor, he writes this letter, I've got an idea. We can take Japan out using bats. And it just sounds nuts, right? It sounds crazy. But he wrote the letter. And in the letter, something's in the letter that makes me think there's something else going on here. He writes, bats are the lowest life form known to man. They are the worst. They are the very lowest life form known to man. He then goes on to say, to this day, scientists have no idea why the bat exists. It serves no purpose on Earth. it has no relevance, it has no impact on society. It's the lowest form of life. I'm like, I think this guy just hates bats. He then goes on to say, God created the bat for this moment, right? There's some narcissism going on here. God created the bat for this moment, to wait for their moment to play their part in the freedom of human existence. And it's like, laying it on a bit thick there, ain't you, bud? But it just sounds like, for me, something happened on that trip. I don't know what, and I've looked into it, but something happened on that trip. And I'm sure either he got a bat caught in his hair and it bit his head or something, or he's just terrified of it. And he thought, you know what? If I can do my bit for the war effort and kill hundreds of thousands of bats at the same time, well, that's a win-win for me. Because it just sounds like that. This guy clearly hates bats, right? I was expecting him to say, well, what's known about the bat is, give a really good reason why bats were great. I thought he was going to lay it out like, I admire bats, and it pains me they're going to die, but I know that they would be effective for this. I know the weight to carry the incendiary device. No, just I kind of hate bats. I can't stand them. And this is what we can use them for. Now, there's methods to the madness, because the idea is that you drop the bomb, and it's not a bomb, it's a casing that contains bats. It doesn't explode. You drop this thing out of the plane, a parachute opens, and as the parachute opens, it pulls up and it releases thousands of chambers, which in turn releases thousands of bats. So you drop this thing at dawn, thousands of bats are then released, and bats roost at dawn. So they would immediately fly to areas and nestle in rooftops and all over the place. And then an hour later, all the devices go off. And originally it was stated, well, look, we're not going to kill the bats because the bats are going to gnaw through the incendiary devices, and they'll just leave the devices. No, they're not. You're going to kill the bats. Right? So that's Jesus. But so Roosevelt was in, right? He looked at him and went, yeah, and he wrote back saying on his approval, this man is not a nut. Because surely someone mentioned that, because it's like, we didn't say that. So surely someone's gone, look, this wacky bastard has written this idea. And he said, this man is not a nut. This man is not a crackpot. He said, this sounds like it's plausible. And I guess at the time when they were like, they just been caught with their pants down, and it was a devastating day for America, that they probably thought, well, let's give it a go. And they bloody well did. So this thing goes into practice. So now the next problem is, where are we going to get thousands and thousands of bats? And how are we going to tie little incendiary devices to them? How are we going to make the timing of that device? And how do we test this thing? Well, we'll talk about that in the next one. That's all from me. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. I will see you very, very soon for issue 5 of the Lancaster bomber. But until then, smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.